If you're watching this, then you're probably considering getting a relaxer. Now, unfortunately, this video is not meant to convince you as to whether or not you should be getting a relaxer. That is a decision that you are supposed to make on your own, and I do not want to weigh into that. However, these are a few things that I feel like you need to know before getting the relaxer, and a few ways that you can prepare for your first relaxer. Hi babe, it's Vicky here. I hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. Now, as you guys might have heard from my relaxer journey, I have been relaxed, then I went to natural hair, and then I went back to getting a relaxer. And there are a few things that I wish I knew before transitioning from natural to relaxed. As a person who has never done it, as a person who has had relaxed hair all their lives, there are a few things that I have learned from going from natural hair to relaxed hair, and I'd like to share a few of those things today with you. So the first thing I want to get into is exactly what a relaxer is. Now, there are a lot of different types of relaxers, but a brief overview would be that a relaxer is a chemical, so a lotion or a cream that you would put onto your hair that will chemically straighten or loosen the curls of your hair. Now, as I said, there are different types of relaxers, but most of them would be a hydroxide that is either bonded with potassium or it would be bonded with sodium. So it would be a sodium hydroxide or a potassium hydroxide relaxer. There are others on the market as well, but that is a brief overview of what a relaxer is. So another thing that I want you guys to know is that the relaxer process is irreversible, but it is not permanent. And what I mean by that is that once you have put relaxer onto your hair, you cannot revert your hair back to its natural state. So you cannot reverse the process, the chemical process of relaxing. However, it is not permanent. You will still be able to go back to having natural hair by means of either transitioning or by cutting your hair all off, doing a big chop, and then growing it all out in your natural state. So that's one thing that I also want you to consider when you're making the decision, is what the process entails and the fact that it is not reversible, but it is not permanent either. So the third thing that I want you to note is that the end of your natural hair journey is not the end of your healthy hair journey. So the one thing about having relaxed hair, the one thing that is commonly known is that it tends to be less maintenance. It tends to require less maintenance as natural hair, but that does not mean that it doesn't require maintenance at all. You will still need to put in some work into keeping your relaxed hair healthy. And the other thing, it's one common mistake that people make, is that once they relax their hair, they then decide to neglect their hair and not take care of their hair. I'm going to need a bit of consistency from the girls. So the same effort that you were putting into maintaining healthy natural hair, I'm going to need you to put the same effort, into maintaining healthy relaxed hair. It's all about consistency. Okay, consistency. All right, so moving on into the tips for anyone who is going to get their relaxer. The first tip that I want to give you guys is to go and see a professional. I know a lot of people do this process at home and it ends up perfectly fine, but I would suggest that at least your first relaxer, so your virgin relaxer, you go get it done by someone who knows hair. As once you get that virgin relaxer, there are certain things that they'll be able to do, certain treatments that they'll be able to do, so they'll be able to identify the requirements of your hair and then further give you guidance on what you should do post relaxer. However, I do know that it is not an option for everyone to go see a professional. So a few tips that I want to give you is to base your scalp before you get your relaxer. This step is very important. It is so important to get your scalp based because the relaxer might end up sitting on your hair a bit longer than it normally would, as you are getting a virgin relaxer. So you want to make sure that you don't irritate your scalp, that you don't burn your scalp. So you can base your scalp with anything that has petrolatum. So most of the hair foods on the market do have petrolatum in them. I use the Black Chic hair food to base my scalp, and I would definitely advise that one, but any hair food will do. If you do have an oil, you can use that as well. Just make sure that you are getting it only on your scalp. And some advice would be to also get it done a day before, so that on the day of, it has already coated your scalp evenly and it has protected your scalp. Now, the second tip I want to give you if you are getting a virgin relaxer at home will be to buy an extra pack. Buy an extra pack of relaxer. You are relaxing your hair from the roots to the end, so you might need a few extra packs of relaxer. Most packs of relaxer are packaged enough for a touch-up, which would be just the growth that is coming out of your scalp and not necessarily the full strand. So you might need a few extra packs of relaxer just to ensure that you don't end up with any under processed areas and areas that did not get enough relaxer. On to the next tip that I want to give you guys. You do want to make sure that you wash your hair before getting your relaxer. I would suggest that you get it done up to a week before getting your relaxer. It's so important to make sure that your scalp is clean and there is no buildup on your hair. This will help ensure that the relaxer process goes on smoother, and just to ensure that everything is a good base for the relaxer, I would suggest that you get a clarifying shampoo. Just make sure that you get a deep cleanse. And the next tip that I want to give you, along with getting a clarifying shampoo, would then be to do a deep conditioner. Now, this can either be a moisture conditioner or a light protein conditioner, but I do suggest that you get a deep conditioner before getting your relaxer done. So the one thing that you want to do is to make sure that your head hasn't come into contact in water up to 72 hours before you relax. Hence, I always suggest for you to do that, for you to do your wash day, your last wash day before your relaxer, a week before you get your relaxer. And the next tip that I like to give you is to get a deep conditioner after getting a relaxer, preferably a protein conditioner. Now, as I mentioned, that the relaxer basically breaks up the proteins in your hair in order to make sure that it is straight. Now, getting a deep conditioner that has protein in it will then help fortify the strength of your hair. The relaxer process can be quite strenuous on your hair, so you want to make sure that you are adding back some of the protein that you might have lost, just to ensure that your hair is nice and strong. And most of the time, a deep conditioner will also help soften your hair and help you get the best results. And the next tip that I want to give you is to pick a few products from your natural hair journey that you can incorporate into your healthy relaxer hair regimen. Now, this is a tip that I wish someone had told me, because after going from natural to relaxed hair, I didn't throw them out, but I got plastic bags and I gave them away. I gave all my products away, only to end up going back and purchasing those products once again. So I would advise anyone to not get rid of their natural hair products altogether, but to keep some of them, incorporate them into your relaxed hair journey, and then as time goes, swap them out for better products. So you don't have to do a complete overhaul of your regimen. Keep some of the products, and then as time goes, swap each product. As long as you know that the products work really well on your natural hair, chances are they might work well on your relaxed hair journey as well. So keep those products, keep using that regimen, and then slowly swap it out as time goes. Restarting your regimen all the way from scratch after getting a relaxer is just going to be expensive, it's going to be time consuming, and it might be ineffective, as you might find yourself going back to the products that you got rid of in the first place. So I would suggest that you keep a few products and then you change them out as time goes. As you realize that some products are not working, you can then swap them out as time goes. There's no need to do a complete overhaul of your regimen if you do know that there are products in there that have worked really, really well for your afro. As time goes, you will get the opportunity to then swap them out, understand what kind of products your relaxed hair likes and what it doesn't, and do that over time instead of trying to do a complete overhaul only to realize that your hair hates those products and you're gonna go back to all the other products that you've used before. So we've reached the end of today's video. If you did enjoy this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.